right, welcome back into another edition of Cash In Tickets. Poolside Bets bringing you Cash In Tickets here. That's me, Franklin Johnson, and my buddy Paul over here, Paul Robertson. Say hi to everybody, Paul.
Hello.
You're supposed to say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
There you go. Now we're in there.
I did good.
Yeah, good job. See, when I say hi, everybody, say hey, everybody. Anyway, we'll work on that. We're working. We'll get to that next time.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's a marathon.
It's not a sprint, is it?
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back with us. It is time to talk about Week 4 and go over what happened in Week 3 of the college football slate. Maybe talk about a little NFL if we got any thoughts and issues with what's going on with the NFL.
I have a comment.
Yeah, a lot of things going on there. So again, welcome in to this edition of Cash In Tickets. This is our look back at Week 3 briefly and look forward to the big slate that is college football in Week 4. A lot of top 25 action going on this week. So before we get to any look back at the picks and what our new picks will be, Paul, you got anything you want to share with us as before we get started?
In college?
Yeah, anything. Any notes, college, NFL? What do you got?
Nah, nothing much. I don't know. That Rams game just kind of turned me the whole way off on the NFL.
Didn't it look like everybody was in on that?
It was
From the referees to the coach.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to fix a game, it probably takes about 5 people. You'd think it'd be like a whole elaborate plan, but, I mean, you get the head coaches and the referees involved, and
I don't know if it was fixed other than everything that happened at the end of the game was to get that cover for the Rams.
it just looked fishy.
Unbelievable. Why kick the field goal does you no good right there, other than literally the only thing it affects is the betting line.
Yeah. I don't know. Last year I got all turned off with the NFL, and I mean, I bet the 49ers tomorrow night, but I didn't put it as a pick because of, whatever. But I don't know. They're going to have to prove to me they got that thing figured out because I know they're professionals, but there's no way in 1 week one team can go from being so shitty to so good without something.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
you're talking about tomorrow night if the Giants all of a sudden
they made a comeback and beat the Cardinals, but Cardinals are not even
bad.
good. I mean, 49ers should win that game by at least 3 touchdowns, at least 17.
Yeah, and I'm a fan, but I'm with you. If they don't, it's an upset, right? I mean, even if they win the game and they win it by 6, what are you doing?
If it's in the fourth quarter and there's people still watching that game, something's up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. NFL is tough. I mean, I get it. Everybody that plays there found their way on there for a reason, but some teams are just better than the other ones, and this is a game the 49ers should dominate from start to finish. And I don't care that it's a short week. It's also a short week for the Giants, and they're without Saquon Barkley. So, yeah, just pay attention to tomorrow night's game, and Thursday night games get weird, but I don't know, man. Does Vegas make a call in and say, hey, we know who's going to win this game, but we need this side of it? Yeah. Does that happen?
And you would kind of understand if it was primetime games like Monday night when their handle's like huge.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't really matter. It can be a 3 o'clock West Coast game, which, I guess only Vegas knows where all the money's at. I don't know.
And these Thursday games now that they're on Prime, the only reason I'll watch tomorrow night is because the 49ers are playing.
Yeah.
But I hate it when they're on Prime because you can't swap between other stuff. Like there'll also be a college football game, and unless you got multiple TVs, you can't, because you have to get out of one app, go to a different app, or go to your DirecTV, or get out of that and go to an app. You got to go to Prime to watch the game.
Yeah, it's a whole.
How did they must have paid a ton of money to get that Thursday night game.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's fishy to me.
I think so too. So, all right, well, we digress. We'll stay away from
you
that.
asked.
I know. Anything caught your eye last week, college football, before we get to
Blue Bloods struggling. Georgia struggled, Florida State struggled, Alabama struggled. me and you've talked about Florida State all week. I think there was more to that than meets the eye. I think there was an illness
too.
Going through the locker room. Maybe a little bit of the flu kind of had them down.
Well, they also you don't get up for BC knowing you got Clemson the week after, and they got up 21 points, and I think they just kind of laid down and this. Oh shit, they're coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alabama struggled, and I know you texted me at halftime of that South Carolina Georgia game. I didn't know if Georgia was ever going to score. Now, they got turned around in the second half, but
yeah, they had a lead, and it was still plus money on the live line.
Yeah,
like, man, we can go get this, and then I knew Georgia was going to rally. I just didn't know. I didn't know that they took keys away in the locker room and said, "Look, you guys ain't gonna have a ride home if we don't come back and win this thing." So.
we already locked your mom out of the. You saw a lot of struggle, and I don't. Again, you see it all the time where a team doesn't get up for another team. It was probably some of that last week, but outside of, I don't think Alabama did though. That was just horrendous quarterback play and offensive line play from the Crimson Tide.
They're not. They're just not.
They're not good.
They're not. There's something. Saban
on offense.
Well,
on offense,
they go through coaches, and I know it's got to be hard to do that.
because
every
they do
year
it
there's
constantly.
like a revolving wheel. It's like having a new quarterback every year. It's a new. And then you got a new quarterback and a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. It's just good Lord.
But I don't think Tommy Rees was brought over here to run his offense. I think he came over here and he's having to run the Alabama offense, whatever that was.
Yeah. Well, they brought in he brought a quarterback with him that I think
he was bad. He was bad. Buckner. Yeah, he was bad.
Anyways, I think I went 3-3 last week.
So let's get to it. Let's go to the recap of last week. Let's bring that up. There we go. That was going. So the records that you see by our names, that was going in to week 3 last week. Those are our last week picks. So we'll just kind of run it down, Paul. You came out the gate hot.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the ones I got right. The ones I can't figure out is the Kansas minus 28. Go look at Nevada. Go look at that stat sheet. There's no way. If you didn't see the final score and you just look at the stat sheet, you'd be like, "Oh, hell, they beat the hell out of them." But no. And then was it Toledo?
Yeah, Toledo won by 4.
San Jose State. I don't know. I don't know. That whole thing was weird too. I don't know. Didn't like it the way it went down. Toledo should have beat the hell out of them, but they didn't.
And only needed 7 points. I thought that was going to be an easy cover for the Rockets.
Should have been Ravens, Bengals.
What was all the scoring in the third to fourth quarter there, man? My goodness.
Division game. Yeah. Didn't do good on Saturday and Sunday, but started out well.
That over-under came down to 4. I had them teased, but it only got to 51.5, so that means it was down to 45.5 prior to the game Sunday. And I was like, 51.5. I said, this is easy. And then, it still covered, but they scored 51 points. I only covered because of the hook.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Another game that we talked about last week was the Memphis Navy game. Memphis had every opportunity to cover that spread.
Yeah, every opportunity.
And couldn't. That thing was weird too. So.
All the turnovers late in that game.
Ugh, it was gross. But 3-3, I'm not upset about it. I've had worse weekends. But look at you.
Yeah, your boy made a comeback last week. Good to see that get going. It at Kansas State, I'd still get on that side of that line, I believe. The 61-yard field goal wins that thing. I just for sure thought we were going to overtime. They had chances to put that thing away, too. They had the lead 3 times and the ball and then could do nothing. That Missouri defense played well. At Eli Drinkwitz, that shows you right there. Here's what's crazy. He gets the win, and now they're all like, he's going to be fine. But he got the win after he botched the time management. I mean, they
Yeah.
got to delay a game. It should have been a 56-yarder, and then the kid has to kick a 60. I hope that dude got a huge steak meal this week.
Bailed him out.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, bailed the coach out there, the kicker. Liberty was easy. They just dominated that
That's a
game.
good football team.
Yeah. Tennessee, Florida under. That was easy. Nobody could score there.
Well,
So-
here's the thing on that though. If you said Tennessee, Florida under hits, there's no way that you think if you told me Florida scores 29, 30 points.
yeah, I'd still get on that under 26 and a half.
And that under would hit, you'd be like
There's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah. So I don't know how the under hit and the Florida team total went over. But here's the thing. They were at 26 points at the half. And I said, you know what? I may still have a shot. And I damn near still had a shot. They only got a field goal in the second half to get over. West
awful.
Virginia, great job in the backyard brawl.
Yep.
I think I sent the video to you. Did you see what they sing? You know, they do Sweet
yeah.
Caroline.
They eat.
And then they go eat shit pit
Eat
during the
poo-poo.
yeah. I mean it's pretty fun. Even the Pittsburgh people were laughing. So I guess it's something they've always done. So good job by Neil Brown. It was a big win. He had to have it there at the backyard brawl. Something looks wrong with Pitt. I don't think their quarterback's healthy.
That ain't good.
And then of course Tampa Bay, my boy, like I talked about, Justin Fields basically gave that game away. Thank you. I knew that was going to happen. He throws a pick six on a screenplay at his own 2-yard line. And they were covering anyway before that, but that just made it an easier cover. So a good week, 4-2. I still don't hate the other two picks. It was just I did not see Florida going off like that in the first half against Tennessee.
Yeah,
Tennessee
I don't
looked discombobulated in the first half, and they got it back together. But I think my thoughts on Joe Milton have come to fruition. I just don't think he's the guy there to run that offense for the Volunteers.
Have you not watched him play?
I watched him play this past week.
He don't play defense.
Their defense is pretty good,
He's thrown one pick the whole year.
but he ain't completed that many passes either.
He throws it 80 yards on his knees.
Well, but to nobody. He throws it to dirt. He throw. I mean, there's
Oh,
nobody
it's a tough
there when
crowd.
he throws it.
It's tough crowd.
Yeah, the Volunteers definitely missing Hendon Hooker there, and probably Jalen Hyatt. If Jalen Hyatt was there, he could probably go get some of those passes that Joe Milton is slinging out
Throw it
there.
as far as you can.
Yeah.
He'll go get
Yeah,
it.
Hyatt to go get it.
There you go.
All right, so that's our and of course you see the charity money line parlay that went bad. We went three. There's 3 games in there we lost: Cincinnati, K-State, and Tennessee. It's worse than I thought it was. I was thinking it was 4-2, but that thing went 3-3, Paul. And Toledo barely hung in for the win on there, so that one was rough. So we're gonna give it another shot. So look forward to week 4. Week 4 is coming up. Lot of big action coming this week, Paul. We got 5 top 25 matchups this week.
And some really good games. Yep.
So where do you want to start? You want to just start with some of those games that we're not picking, some of the marquee matchups, and just discuss them and talk about them, because people probably want to know where we may say where we lean, but we're just not. Just know we're not putting out picks for this, but we'll talk about them and say where we're leaning. Might as well. I mean, they're marquee games.
Yeah. You want to start Florida State, Clemson, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we can go. You brought it up, so let's talk Florida State, Clemson.
This is like last week. I think Florida State. I think there was something wrong inside the locker room. Not anything to do with the players or the coaching. I just think they had a bad week. I don't know. I guess this is separation Saturday for a lot of these teams. If Florida State is gonna take the next step and be in the playoffs and do what they're supposed to be, they have to beat Clemson at Clemson. They have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I've got a ticket on Clemson to win the national title. Yeah. So swing and a miss.
They have to have this one.
Lined open at Clemson -3, down to Florida State -2.5, -3 in spots. It's just a classic defensive versus offensive thing. I mean, I know the front line of Florida State's really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, does Dabo Swinney kind of get on the hot seat if he can't win this game?
No, I don't think I think he's going to be fine. You know, I really here what can Clemson's got? Here's what scares Clemson has the length at DB. They've got 6'2" and better DBs. So they're going to body up those wide receivers for Florida State, and they're going to try to go man a lot, I think. I don't know their defensive scheme.
They ain't going to man with Johnny Wilson.
And Keon Coleman had nothing last week. He has only 3 catches since he went 9 catches over $1 in the LSU game. And I maybe Jordan Travis is just trying to feed the rest of them and get Johnny Wilson confident because he had like 2 or 3 drops in that LSU game. But Jaheim Bell, I think, got dinged up a little bit, but I think he's going to give it a go. Look, I've already made my statement what I thought about Florida State. I told you in our conference preview they were going to win this game. They were going to win the ACC, and they were going to make the playoff. And I thought I had Jordan Travis as my Heisman pick. This is his Heisman moment. This is where you got to get it done, and they're going to need him. Their defense is okay. I don't hate their defense. It's fine. And here's the thing. I think it's good enough because Cade Klubnik's not gonna beat you with his feet. You know what I mean? He's not if they can get upfield, put pressure on him, those Clemson receivers have not been good.
Yeah, Garrett Riley coming in for Clemson, it may take a year, I guess. I overestimated his value as an offensive coordinator coming in. I thought with the talent they had, it shouldn't take long, but apparently
I just think they've missed on wide receiver.
Maybe. Money-wise, both teams are 2-1 against the spread this year. 83% of the money against the spread are coming in on Florida State. 89% of the total is coming in on the over. Florida State's 3-0 to the over. Clemson's 2-1 to the over. The over is 56.5. No, it's down to So what do you think there on the over/under? You got any?
The over/under 55. I think if Florida State's going to win this game, that it's got to go under.
Under,
don't you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of money coming in on the over, and I don't just looking at it without actually going into it.
Because here's the problem: if that thing gets going, I don't know. If it gets going in a shootout, I guess you trust Florida State more than Clemson, right? But that means their defense is not doing anything, and Clemson can kind of take it to you and do what they want to do. And don't you trust Clemson to get a stop late more than Florida State?
At one time I did. I don't know. That front 7 for Florida State's really, really good. But here's the thing. At home at Clemson, if they jump out 14-3, 17-3 real quick,
Jordan Travis is going to have to start running and slinging it. I mean, he's just going to have to start getting those wide receivers are going to have to be everything.
I don't think there's enough there to tell me that 89% of the money should be on the over. I don't. No,
I don't either. Look, I think this game's going to be hard fought. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. Look, I still like Florida State to win this game. And again, I'd feel like a chicken if I didn't, of all the bluster that I did in the conference preview. I think I can't not pick this game. So I am going to pick it. It will be in my picks when we put them out later.
Oh yeah, my bad.
No, it's all good. But I just think this is where Jordan Travis has his moment. He's going to have it. It has to be right here, right? You can't lose this game and then try to come back later and make your case for the ACC, right?
Norvell.
It has to be done right now.
Everything that they built up.
This is the year. This is the year they built to.
They have to be able to go to Clemson to put a stamp on that conference. They have to be able to go to Clemson and beat them. You
know what? This game reminds me of a game in the SEC we're going to talk about. If you're going to beat somebody, you got to do it now. This is the year. And this is the time when the Clemson is, I say they're down. The whole nation watched that Duke game. Clemson made a lot of mistakes. But and they'll say, a lot of people think Clemson was the better team, but they made too many mistakes, and Duke won. And they deserved to win. They played well. I think Duke's really good.
Yeah. Duke's Riley Leonard's a really good quarterback.
He's a hell of a quarterback, and here's the thing: he can do it with his legs and his arm. That's why I think Clemson's defense could struggle with Jordan Travis because he's that same type of player.
Right, if we're going to talk about this in a minute, let's go to the next one.
You want to move on to the next game?
Yeah, because you're going to talk about it here in a minute too. So the next one I got big time. If you want to talk about it, it's Oklahoma Cincinnati. Is it worth hitting? You want to move?
I didn't write anything about this game, but yeah, we can talk about it.
Oklahoma may have finally figured it out.
You think so?
Man,
Hey, I talked shit about them in our preview.
Oh, I did too. All last year. Wouldn't put my boy Booty in there.
No, General Booty needs to get us. I mean, but Dylan Gabriel's balling out. 11
Yeah.
TDs, 1 pick, 900 and something yards. You know, we talk about Michael Penix and Caleb Williams and Cameron Ward, and Dylan Gabriel's out there dealing.
Yeah, you look at this initially, you go minus 14.
Yeah, go ahead. They can't hear that.
Yeah. You got what do you got going on?
The ads keep coming up on the ESPN.
All right, minus
so.
14 looks like a suspect number off the bat, but then when you look into it, Cincinnati coming off a loss. And Oklahoma is really good. I'm telling you, this thing could get, I know it's in Cincinnati, but it could get ugly early.
Well, you know, it's the second year with Dylan Gabriel in Jeff Lebby's offense, and we knew he could coordinate. I just didn't trust in Brent Venables as a head coach, and that defense was bad last year. But maybe it was bad because they couldn't control the offensive side of the ball. This year they're doing that, and everything's rolling.
Yeah, Levy's got it. He's got it going. As much as we have feelings about Levy, but yeah, I mean he controls one side, Levy controls the other, and I'm pretty sure Bob Stoops has stopped by
And
once or twice
and let some people know.
Yeah. So you want to move on?
I mean, you got anything else on that game? I mean,
No,
I
I'm just
don't-
excited to see what happens. I want to see if Oklahoma's as good as I think they are. Cincinnati is coming off a terrible loss. I don't think. I mean, 53% of the money on the spread is on Cincinnati here at minus 14 or plus 14 would be. A lot of money coming in on the over, which I don't hate because Oklahoma can hang 50 on anybody.
And I think too much is being made about the Cincinnati win over Pitt. Pitt's not
They're
good.
not good, yeah. And they just lost to Miami of Ohio, I believe.
And Cincinnati turns around and loses to Miami, Ohio. They say, it's a look-ahead game. Well, you can't lose the look-ahead games if you want to be a good team.
Yeah,
You know,
it kind of neglects the game you're looking ahead
I mean,
to.
what what's the point if you lose the game
That's how you
prior
lose
to?
yeah, that's how you lose game day. College game day.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. You got to be better than that.
Next one I got up is I don't think we've bet is Auburn A&M.
No, I have that in picks.
All right, I'll move on down the line. I'm trying to go this by time.
Yeah, let's just let's go ahead and go to the Colorado Oregon game.
Okay.
You hate it for Travis Hunter that he's not going to be able to play in this game. I do want to say that I love what Hunter here's the thing. Travis Hunter came out before his coach did. Class act by this kid. He came out there and said, "I didn't feel there was any intent on the hit. You know, it's football. Those types of things happen. You know, the guy's trying to make a big hit, a big play. I get it, and we've moved on." And then, of course, Deion finally comes out after the kid's getting death threats and that kind of thing. Which, come on, man, fans, do better. Do better. I know it was cheap, but man, we've seen hits like that in football for years.
These people that are coming out and doing that stuff, they're only been Colorado fans for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, go find something else to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, really. Where were you last year? I guarantee they weren't even football fans last year.
No, there were what they had like 13,000 people at games last year.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's doing up there is exciting and it's fun. It kind of reminds me of the '80s Miami team.
Now I like all the bluster. It's cool.
He's
yeah,
doing a great job.
He's good for college football.
But he's keeping his guys humble and all that. And that's good stuff.
Yeah,
I
I was glad to see that. Now, as far as the game's concerned,
Eesh.
they're running into something right here, man. That Colorado defensive line is bad, and Bo Nix is playing some of the best football I've ever seen him play. And the kid does not give the football away at home, and that goes over back to his career at Auburn. When he plays at home in his stadium, I think he's got 1 pick, Paul.
No.
And that's like 30-something games.
That's SEC and
Pac-12. Yeah, I mean, and Oregon is just they're not throwing it down the field, but everything you want to give them, they're taking it. Bo Nix has been smart. He's getting the ball out. They're moving it fast. Colorado won't be able to stop them.
The line looks right to me. I
The line's right.
I like that they didn't overact what Colorado's done all year. I'm not saying that Colorado can't cover this thing late. It just looks right.
Yeah, I think it's right on the number. That's why it scares me to bet it, because I was praying this thing came in at like 10 to 12,
Yeah.
and I would have been all over Oregon
Yeah.
at that point. But of course, Travis Hunter's out too. That makes a difference.
Yeah. To me, you find out here, Colorado keeps this thing within 10 or goes out and wins it, then look out.
Hey, look, I want to see what I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be able to put up points too. The kid's really, really good.
He knows how to run that offense.
He's dynamic. He's a great football player. So I think he will get his and probably be late. So that's why that line scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's any way that Colorado gets his win over Oregon, but I'm curious just to see how close they keep it at the end. So let's go to one that I didn't think this was going to even be a game when I saw it, but oh my, we got one here, another Pac-12 matchup. It's one of three we're going to talk about, which is crazy that the Pac-12 is going away. UCLA travels to Utah to take on the Utes. There's rumors that Cam Rising is going to play, but I don't believe it. There's not enough that you hear. That line's 4. UCLA was my team to fade in the Pac-12, and they have proven me wrong on that one, Paul. Tell me about the Bruins.
They finally put that freshman in.
He's good.
Dante Moore.
Yeah.
This is where you find out that Utah defense is for real.
They can play, and they're at home. That's the only reason that line is what it is.
Yeah, under a touchdown, give me Utah in this game, but I like what they've done at was it Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly, yeah.
God, Brian Kelly.
Look, here's the thing: their defense is much improved too at UCLA. That's what makes them scary.
He's done a good job there. I don't know. I still like Utah here. I don't think UCLA's ready.
You don't think so?
Yet.
I mean, both teams are in top 10 in scoring defense. Is the one thing I looked up.
78% of the money on the over.
Do you not just, if you're going to bet this game, right? Say you're just out there and you're thinking about it, you're going to throw $25. Don't you just take UCLA on the money line?
No.
When this close, and if you say you hear Saturday Cam Rising's out again. Even if he's going to play, he's going to be. I know the other guy's been okay, but Utah just hasn't looked what Utah typically looks like.
Yeah, I think Utah.
You think their defense is
just
better?
I think this
too disciplined
in the trenches. They're too strong, too rough. They beat people up. -4.5.
What if it was at UCLA? You think that makes? They're not as good on the road. Do you think that would make a difference?
Yeah, maybe, but that line's not the same. Either.
That line would be -1 Utah, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we. You look. I wasn't prepared to say UCLA, but the more I looked at it, I just they've just played really well, and that defense has surprised me. I have been, and that kid, that Moore kid, yeah, you throw him in there, and he's been good.
He's supposed to be the next big thing. Him and the guy at Penn State, Drew Aller.
Drew Aller, yeah, whatever, yeah, however you say his name.
He's got a big game this week too.
Yeah, he does. He's not been that good, so we'll see what happens there. So the other Pac-12 game, since we're stuck in the Pac-12, let's talk about it. My Oregon State Beavers travel to Pullman to take on Washington State. I did not think this was going to be as big a game when I saw it on the schedule, but here we go. 2 top 25 teams, and maybe 2 of the top 3 teams in the Pac-12.
I don't know. I think Washington State wins this game. I don't know. I can't tell you if it's going to go under, over. I don't have a prediction on score. I just feel like they're going to find a way to win it. I feel like Ukulele is going to find a way to lose it. I know how good Oregon State's defense can be and can play, but Cam Ward is a very talented young man.
And here's what sucks. Here's my dilemma. Like in this game, to pick the team that I like, I have to take the worst quarterback. And you know me, anytime the line is low, I always I'm going to take the better quarterback, right? When it's a 3-4 point game, give me the better quarterback. That's typically how I bet those games, and it wins more than it loses.
No.
But yeah, in this game, Washington State absolutely has the better quarterback, Cameron Ward. He's been a monster for Washington State. And they're at home. They play incredibly good at home. If this game was in Corvallis, I'd be all over the Beavers. Here's the way that they win this game. They have to run the football, which is what they do. If they can run it well and keep Cameron Ward on the sidelines and they play good defense and they can stop him from having the explosive plays that he's had, they've got a shot in this game. And to keep me alive in this whole Pac-12 deal, they've got to win this game.
Sportsline's got it 27-22 Oregon State.
That's good. What's the line?
It sounds dirty. Oregon State -3 here.
Yeah, I thought they were 3 or 4 point favorites.
I just sound like that. A 27-22 games means some weird shit is going on.
And you know, with that Oregon State -3, you know, that tells you if it was at Corvallis, they'd be a 6 point favorite.
Yeah, they'd be. You talk about a game, I would go out there and just bet a team just straight up.
You take Washington State straight up, yeah.
Straight up.
And that's better to take the home dog than me taking UCLA as the road dog.
No.
I do have a home dog for you later.
Ooh, I do too.
So, all right. I didn't even have this one on my. Oh yeah, I did. I have it up there. I just didn't have any notes on it because I think I do it off the top of my head. So before we get to the,
you want to talk about Ohio State?
Yeah, that's the one I was getting at. Ohio State travels. They're going to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish right there in front of Touchdown Jesus and everybody. Notre Dame is +3 at home, Paul. What are you thinking here?
I don't. They're gonna have to show. Notre Dame's gonna have to show me that they have legit stepped up. They played last year. I think they hung with Ohio State.
That was game 1 though.
Yeah.
Last year.
I know they got the quarterback situation settled over there. But this is
settled well.
This is a whole other animal they're about to run into. I don't have a necessary feel for this game. I looked at it briefly, but I was like, oh no. No. I wish I had more dynamite knowledge here, but this is one of the games, it's Separation Saturday kind of deal. So you find out they got it 32-25 Ohio State. Which would be a cover, but it's too close to bet. You know.
Yeah.
If anything, I take the over, 55.5 maybe.
So I love their running back. He's probably one of the top running backs in the nation right now. He's got tons of yards. It's Esme at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
He literally falls for 4 yards. I mean, the kid does not get tackled for a loss. He's been incredible. That offensive line for Notre Dame's been great. Now, again, they're about to run into the best defense they've seen all year. But when you talk about what they're facing, McCord finally has now been, okay, he's our starter for Ohio State.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Win or lose.
And they just now named him that after the last game. Sam Hartman is the unquestioned leader, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He's been incredible. Over 1,000 yards already, 13 TDs. Esme's got 521 yards. Ohio State can't match any of that on their side of the football. They've played Indiana, Youngstown State, Western Kentucky, Notre Dame's played Navy, Tennessee State, North Carolina State, and then Central Michigan. I just think Notre Dame's got too much up front, offensive line wise, that they're just going to lean on Ohio State all night long. And Sam Hartman's just going to make plays. I love that kid. We loved him when he was at Wake Forest. And I just think he's too good for the Buckeyes here. Give me Notre Dame +3. I'm not putting out as a pick, or not the +3. I mean, this is my home dog. I'm taking Notre Dame on the money line probably. A little $25, but whatever. I mean,
bag of corn.
Yeah.
So the line opened at Ohio State -8.5 down to Ohio State -3.5, and then it opened at 63.5, came down to 55.5.
Yeah, that over/under's come down big time.
I don't understand. I don't really know either way here. I guess this great thing about it, we're gonna find out together. I don't have enough confidence. I don't have enough confidence in this pick. I would love to see Sam Hartman go out there and get this win.
Oh yeah, for him, I like the kid,
Yeah.
and I'd love to see Notre Dame get this win.
And it's funny. I used to hate Notre Dame. And now Sam Hartman's there and Brian Kelly's not.
And all of
like,
a sudden,
hey, those
Notre Dame's
helmets
not
look
so bad.
snazzy.
Yeah, how about those gold helmets?
You seen that touchdown Jesus they got in the end
He
zone?
looks good down there. Yeah.
Yeah. Got the Shamrock uniforms on.
Look, they're going to be incredibly fired up, and I know
that crazy,
hey,
crazy.
Ohio State's
6:30 at night.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's going to be drunk. I mean, and Ohio State obviously is going to be ready to go too. Don't get me wrong, but I just think this is too much. I think this is Notre Dame. That this team, this version of Notre Dame with a quarterback like this is different. It's just different. Now, can their wide receivers beat their corners for Ohio State? That's going to be the difference. Does Sam Hartman have anybody to throw to? That's going to be an issue. They're probably going to have to work the tight end a lot.
All I know is from 10:30 Saturday morning till about 12:30.
We got a big day.
Saturday night. I'm going to be radio silent.
Yeah, don't text me, call
got
me,
to write me
don't
a letter.
ask me stuff. Yeah, so put it in the mail. I'll answer it Tuesday.
Those are the games we just talked about. There's several other games that are going to be just as good. All right.
And it's a good thing we got a bunch of TVs so we can see all these games.
Well.
We won't miss a game, folks. So just be prepared for that. All right. The big game everybody wants to know about, Paul. Neither one of us are putting out a pick. We wouldn't do it if our lives depended on it.
We would fight.
I'm not putting out a pick. I put out a pick against Tulane, not this game.
Go ahead.
So 2:30 Saturday afternoon, your Ole Miss Rebels travel to Tuscaloosa to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Alabama Crimson Tide are a 7-point favorite. The over/under sits at what, 54?
2:30 kick. It says consensus 55.5. I guess
55. Okay.
It depends on what book you use, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Up from 48.5. Yeah. So I guess they're thinking there's going to be
people are
some.
hammering that over, aren't they?
And points now. We're
And
going to get in a shootout.
So let me ask you this:
I'm not.
How are you hammering the over with Alabama? You have to think Ole Miss's defense is just atrocious, right? To hammer the over when you've seen what Alabama's put on the field offensively.
So this is what I've seen so far. This as an Ole Miss fan, we as a university have never had a coaching staff that could make in-game adjustments that work
Until now.
Now we seem to have something figured out to where even if we get on our heels a little bit, they seem to. If it may take till halftime,
Yep.
but they know what to do to get things figured out.
It's
We've never had that. Not in the history. You can't name a coach.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen us look better in the second half defensively than the first, unless we were just uber talented. When you talk about the Kandichis and the Mike Hiltons and the Goldson, that was talent. That had nothing to do with coaching.
Well,
that was talent.
But that's also Hugh Freeze's how you start, how you finish it too. So you got in the first quarter, whatever you looked like then is what you were.
Yeah, I mean, but we were better in the second half during on defense in that. It was just 1 year, that 2014 year. We were good start to finish. It wasn't like we made a whole lot of changes. This time, this guy Pete Golden, I mean, he's gotten every game turned around.
Yeah.
And the offense is now better in the second half than it is in the first half. You got to explain. This is a whole different type of watching situation for me. I'm not used to this.
It's not the old Ed Orgeron, 3 minutes and everything you got, and get blowed out the rest of the time.
Look, I've talked to several people, some of my best friends, some of my closest friends, and I don't think they understand what they're watching on the football field, even some that played football. Jackson Dart has been an absolute dude. He's playing his tail off. If it hadn't have been for Dart on that field in Tulane, we lose that game.
Yeah. Well, he kept us in a bunch of games last year. We should have had.
Yeah, and I know he wasn't great throwing the football last year. He had nobody to throw to either. And then he goes out and he rushes for 135 yards against Georgia Tech because he had to and because he could. Threw the ball well.
Well, he had one 60-yard run, didn't he?
Yeah, and Jordan Watkins stepped up in that game. So glad to see him take a step up. So it's about getting people back. We got to have Trey Harris back, but I don't think he's going to play this weekend. But Caden Prescorn, the big tight end transfer from Memphis, who he was the number 1 tight end in the portal, he's supposed to. This was the game they were looking at for him to finally get back. And if he comes back, that's a huge add for the Ole Miss offense. So But what can that defense do against Jalen Milroe and the Crimson Tide? Are they going to be able to slow him down?
They got to stop the run. That's all they got to do.
I mean, he can't throw it.
Yeah, stop the run, man. Just get in there. Don't get overwhelmed. It's going to be on the road. You're not going to get any calls.
No.
Don't think it's going to be. You're not going to get none of the calls.
No, we're in SEC play now. This is not Georgia Tech, Tulane.
So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for them. I hope they go up there and get them a win. But I like what I've seen so far. If we don't beat Bama, I'm not gonna just throw my towel in like some fans do.
No.
They got a whole year. This is the toughest schedule in the country to me.
And Quinshon Judkins still hadn't busted out. You know, I mean, he's got the talent. I don't know what's going on there. Ulysses Bennett had a good game last week. Dart was able to run.
Well,
I don't know why we can't get Judkins going.
Well, it's something about our backups because last year, I mean, Judkins came in kind of the backup
to Zach Evans.
And he just takes off. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I think he's trying to run too patient this year. He's always been a patient runner, but I think he's being too patient, especially with this offensive line. It's not a great iteration of the offensive line, and that's what scares me because Bama can exploit a bad offensive line. Their defense is still good.
Yeah. I'm just excited to watch it. It's where's my stuff at here? I was going to give the prediction here.
Oh, every prediction I've ever have seen has got Bama at least by 6 or 7.
31-23 Bama.
Yeah, and the lines come down. The line's at 6.5 now.
Even that's 54. What is all this over stuff?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. You're going to tell me Alabama's going to score 31 points? You're telling me that our defense is crap, if that's what you're telling me. They scored, 17 on South Florida? 17. So, I mean, maybe our defense is shit, and we just don't know it.
Yeah, well, let's I'm excited. I'm just not going to.
I don't know. There will be no money placed on that game. Absolutely not. All right, so I think is there any other games that we missed and need to talk about before we move on to picks?
No, we could talk about probably 4 or 5 more, but I think just for time's sakes.
I mean, yeah, those are the big ones. It was top 25 games.
Yes.
There is another top 25 game at 6:30. Iowa travels take on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Yeah, the nap of the night game.
Yeah, I mean that over under is 40. I would still take the under.
The BYU Kansas game's gonna be fun. The Arkansas
LSU game.
LSU's gonna be fun.
LSU big in that game, by the way.
No, goodness gracious. I don't give a shit. I hope they both lose.
Washington's gonna beat Cal by 50 at 9:30 Saturday night.
If they want to.
Washington may be the best team in the nation, in my opinion.
Memphis, Missouri, locally is a good one.
Yep. So if you lose all your money throughout the day by following my picks or Paul's picks, just target that 9:30 p.m. game. That line's only 20.5 against Cal. And so, frankly, Cal's defense has been pretty good. Have you watched Washington play and Michael Penix Jr. play? No. I'm telling you, Washington can just about name their score against any team this year. And that's what I was like, what the hell? Because I took Oregon State in the Pac-12, and my choices were Oregon State or Washington. Those are the two teams I was deciding between. And Washington looks like world beaters. I mean, they look incredible.
Pretty good.
If I put out a top 25 ballot, there'd probably be 1 or 2 in my top 25 ballot.
Yeah,
Paul.
Penix is one in my husband.
Yeah, he's right now running away with the Heisman, isn't he? I mean, this kid's incredible.
34-15. Well, they score more than 34 points.
Yeah, they'll score 45.
The over-under is 59. They'll probably get to 55 on their own.
Cal won't score 10. 45, 10, 48, 10, 49, 10. Yeah, somewhere in there.
That shit's sailed over.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think they beat the shit out of Cal.
Yeah. What do we know?
But, again, what do we know? That's right. Right. So, all right. Well, you want to get to our picks, Paul?
Let's get to it.
I don't want to, because I'm scared to death. I'm coming off a good week. I don't want to go back in the tank. But, hey, we got to make them. We said we was going to make them. So, here we go. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
So our current records now, Poolside Bets is now 18, 15, and 1 on the year.
Oh.
Yeah. Moving on up, baby. Moving on up. I am 8 and 9 after the big 4-2 week, almost back to 500. Paul now is 10-6-1 on the year. Still, even after a 3-3 week, he's doing fantastic across the way from me there. So, you want to fade me and ride with Paul? Look, that's your prerogative. Either way you want to go. But if you took us all year, you'd be up 3. I mean, it just kind of depends on how you bet, how you laid your bets there. But 18, 15, and 1 poolside bets. Here we go, Paul. Here we go. I'll start Friday night. Air Force takes on San Jose State in the Mountain West Conference matchup. So San Jose State is 3-1 against the spread. And Air Force is only 1-2 against the spread. But I like the Falcons here. They've won 8 straight. The number 1 rushing team in the nation. What also might shock you, they also lead the nation in total defense. San Jose State 0-6 in their last 6 Mountain West games. Spread is just over field goal. So give me the Falcons here, -3.5. Big win over the San Jose State Spartans.
The guy from San Jose State playing quarterbacks, Cordero, I think's his name.
He's not been bad.
He's good. The problem here is that he won't be on the field much.
No.
I have that pick. I showed you earlier that was one of the games I was looking at. My goal this week was to keep it dirty and not get enticed by the big primetime games, which I will be watching. But I just
this is nice. This is a buried Friday night game.
No, that's like I said, there's no reason I didn't bet. I mean, I still may bet this thing. -2, open at 2, -3.5, up to 4.5 at some spots. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they'll be on the field a whole lot. I think Air Force controls the game, controls the tempo. Defense is really, really good.
That's the thing that's different. Air Force runs the triple option better than Army and Navy because they can actually throw it. They got some wrinkles in there that they do an okay job with throwing the football, and they're just beating teams with ease this year.
Yeah, they got 26-17 Air Force at San Jose State. I think that's accurate.
Sounds about right.
I don't know if they get to San Jose State gets to 17. I like the pick though.
All right,
I go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna open it up with Arizona -12 at Stanford. 6 o'clock on the Pac-12 network.
6 o'clock. Arizona and Stanford at 6. Sounds
6
weird,
o'clock.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an afternoon game out there for them.
Yeah.
See, I did this last week and it burned me, but I'm going back to the well because
All right.
Stanford defensively is not very good. Same thing I said about Nevada. 131st on third down efficiency, 117th first down efficiency, 129th passing defense, 126 yards per play, 118th in turnovers. They're not very good at stopping the pass, but you know what Arizona does well?
What's that?
They pass the ball.
They throw the ball very well.
Jaden Dellar can throw it, completing 73% of his passes on the year. He's going to be able to carve this team up. Wildcats need to limit the turnovers. They can do that. This thing will be just not even – it'll be over with quick.
Yeah, it's a turnover situation with the Wildcats. You know, they turned it over 5 times against the Mississippi State Bulldogs when they still took them to overtime, but – they're not playing the Mississippi State Bulldogs. This is Stanford Cardinal. They're not going to be able to get the turnovers that the Bulldogs can.
Yeah, so Troy Taylor, who took over the Stanford team this year, came from Sacramento State, who he did really well there. They went from D1 up to D1. They lost to Sacramento State last week. So,
holy moly.
Yeah, so the morale in Stanford's low. Your new coach, your bright new shiny coach just went back to his former team and lost. So give me Arizona -12.5. That thing should be over early. Should be easy cash. I said that about Kansas, Nevada, and I still ain't figured out how that happened.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So
anyways,
I'll go to my second game, and this will be easy because we've already talked about it. And again, the only reason this is up there in my picks is because all the bluster I made about Florida State in our conference preview, and I didn't want to feel like a chicken by not giving this game out. So I'm going to stick to my guns here. I think this is where Jordan Travis has his Heisman moment. Now, catching Michael Penix is going to be a whole different story because I didn't know that kid would be out there running away with it like he is currently. Yeah. But I like what Jordan Travis can do with his feet, with his legs, mostly with his arm. I mean, with his feet, with his legs and his arms, mostly with his arms, with those wide receivers that he's got out there. I think Keon Coleman is going to have a big night, and so will Johnny Wilson. Florida State's going to take down Clemson by at least 7 to 8 points. So 2.5. I'll lay the 2.5 easy with the Seminoles.
Yeah, we talked about this game earlier. I like it. They got it 27-25, Florida State.
I know that's not covering, but I think they win by a
You're-
field goal or more.
Yeah, you're asking more out of Clemson than if you bet on Clemson than you are Florida State. You're asking Florida State just to do what they've been doing. You're asking Clemson to do better.
What they can't.
Yeah.
What they haven't been doing,
Yeah,
not can't. What they haven't been doing.
Yeah, so yeah, I get it there.
All right.
No issues. App State at Wyoming, 6 o'clock, CBS Sports.
I love this pick.
Over 44. I looked at App State to win this thing going away. Both defenses have struggled this year. If you believe App State can score 30 against Wyoming, then you have to believe Wyoming can score at least 2 touchdowns. That App State defense is going to give up points.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not the App State defense we've seen before.
Yeah, the line's just too low here. I don't know.
I don't understand the 44. That's just, maybe it's a trap game, Paul, but I absolutely love this pick. It's
Yeah.
my favorite pick on the board, honestly.
It wouldn't be the last trap I fell into.
I mean, outside of Air Force on my side, this is my favorite pick.
Yeah, they got it. What is it? I looked earlier. I didn't write it down though. I think this thing just sails over. I don't think it's going to be close, but that's why I'm betting it.
Oh, you pulling up the computer projections over there?
I just want to see what these knuckleheads are talking about because sometimes they're right, but
That shouldn't be a late game, should it? App State and
that's 6
Wyoming.
o'clock, ain't it? Ain't that what I said? Yeah, right there. 29-20 is 49 points. So
I mean, that sells over.
yeah, if I can get anywhere, hell, we'll take any of it.
Wyoming's pretty good on offense now, and so is App State. I mean, they're both to get in the 20s
Yeah,
easy.
The
I
App
think.
State defense is not good. So both teams, I think we're Craig Bowles is a good coach, but that App State offense should be able to score on them. All right.
All right, I'll move on to my next pick. And my next 4 picks all basically go against what the public's doing and what most experts think. So I feel like I'm on the right side of this deal, and that's the reason I put these next 4 in there. So I'm going to take the Maryland Terrapins heading over to East Lansing to take on Michigan State. They've got the best quarterback. Michigan State is just in turmoil over there. They got beat up by Washington. It was like, hey, Franklin Washington's number 1 in the country. Yeah, they probably are. But, I mean, if Michigan State's going to have a rally, hey, we're rallying behind us and the new, our head coach is getting fired, whatever. I mean, okay. But, I mean, there's so much going on there. I don't trust it. I just think Maryland's a better team. They got the better quarterback for sure. Little Pineapple can really get it done over there, and he can do it both ways. He's a little more athletic than his older brother, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of it's like Michael Penix Jr. light. He can kind of do both things, and his adjusted completion percentage is 80%. I mean, he's really putting it on the numbers. That Michigan State defense been okay, but I don't think they can hold Tagovailoa, how they say his name?
Close enough.
Yeah, I think that's close enough. I think they can extend the. I don't know. It'll be close, probably 4.5. But late in the third quarter and early in the fourth, I think this is where the Terps really turn it around. And then the edge rusher for the Terrapins there, Donnell Brown, I think he's going to wreak havoc on this Michigan State QB, Noah Kim, especially starting in the third and fourth quarter where that defensive line of the Maryland Terrapins is going to start leaning on Michigan State late. And it's going to get late in East Lansing, and the Terps are going to pull away by at least 2 scores. So I'll take Maryland minus 7.5.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think Michigan State's dead in the water.
And the public's on Michigan State. They're jumping all over that line, so I feel like I'm on the right side.
Yeah, I don't know what they're seeing there. Maybe it's at home. I don't know. My next pick is going to be Sam Houston State plus 12.5 at Houston on ESPN Plus.
I love their defense.
6 o'clock. Casey Keeler for Sam Houston State can flat out coach. He's won at every level. That team will play hard in every matchup, even though they're not the most talented team on offense now. They're not. We get to see how good they are, though, because that Dana Holgorsen team will test them. But that Houston team is not good on either side of the football this year. Something is amiss. I think Sam Houston State may win this thing outright.
That they could. I think they could.
I don't hate the under here either, but I'm going to take them. You're going to give me Sam Houston State. If this thing gets to 14, oh, hell yeah. But anyways, Sam Houston State plus 12.5, and I know that's a team that we probably hadn't talked about much, and you may not have heard a lot about.
We've mentioned it on this podcast here.
But the numbers don't lie. I mean, it is what it is. You watch it. I mean, what you see is what you see. You can't make it nothing else.
They are going to bludgeon you on the defensive
That's
side
gonna-
all night long.
So we're probably looking at Dana Holgerson's victory lap or final final goodbye.
Final season in Houston, probably.
Yeah, he'll end up one of those directional schools.
Yeah, I liked this game a lot too because Sam Houston State they're not going to score a lot. They're not going to do it offensively, but that defense is incredible. That's the kid in there making all the noises. He's singing a song in there. He's singing it to his people.
All right, there we go.
That's our stats guy in there.
Yeah.
All right, so my next game is I'm going to the Duke Blue Devils and the UConn Huskies. They're going to tangle. That line is like 20-something points, so I wasn't really sure where to go on that line because I'm thinking maybe there'll be some points late because Duke has a propensity of getting out early. Riley Leonard's one hell of a quarterback for the Blue Devils, doing it on the ground and through the air. And Jordan Waters is really good running back as they combine to put up almost 250 yards a game on the ground for the Blue Devils. He's also 67% completion percentage with 0 interceptions. So you don't look for the Blue Devils to turn the ball over. That means they score a lot because they keep possession of the football. Roberson's been okay for the Huskies, and I don't hate that wide receiver Buckman for him. They can really catch it like in the slot and go get you some yardage. So I think the Huskies going to be able to score maybe once a half, and that's all I need. I'm going to take the over here with Duke and UConn over 45.5 because I think Duke easily can get into the 30s here in this game. Give me 14 points out of the UConn Huskies, and I think I get this over.
They got at Duke 39-14, which is right where you want.
That's 49, right?
No, that's more than 49. That's 54.
Oh, 39-14.
53,
I thought you said 35-14.
No, it's 53.
Yeah, I think a high 30s, like the over 35. So just give me 2 touchdowns by the Huskies.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I like it too. I like that quarterback though, Riley Leonard. In that game, really, really talented young man. He stayed there a while. Mike Elko's been there a while. They finally got that thing rolling. Let's dive in a little bit here. 2:30. All right, yeah. 51% of the money on Duke, 67% is on the over. UConn is 0-3 to the over this year, so they're due to get a pick here, get a over. My next game I'm going to is Rice minus 2.5. Rice minus 2.5 at South Florida, 3:00 ESPNU. JT Daniels and Luke McCaffrey lead this Rice offense against a UCF team that's got a lot of confidence right now because everybody watched them do what they did against Bama. But Bama's not that good. I don't know what to tell you. But,
Bama's not that good,
and I don't know what to say about it. I mean, everybody, 2.5 is a weak number. It's just it's a number just based on what they did last week. And I don't know what to tell you, Bama fans. This South Florida team is not good.
No, they're not good.
It's just not good. South Florida's got a one-man wrecking crew at quarterback. He runs, he throws, he does it all. Byron Brown leading the way there. If Rice can find a way just to slow him down just a little bit, JT Daniels, Luke McCaffrey, and the boys on offense will get this thing rolling.
Unbelievable JT Daniels is still in college football. Is it not?
Well,
Didn't he spend like 19 years at Georgia after transferring from USC?
He went from USC to Georgia to West Virginia last year.
Oh, that's right. To West Virginia last year. Now at Rice.
Down to Rice, yeah.
I liked this game too. I liked Rice. I saw it minus 2.5. Don't let that game against Alabama last week fool you, which sounds weird, right? Does it not? But yeah, I mean, Rice has got a win over Houston this year. They played Texas pretty tough in the first half. I think Rice can go out there and get this win. Yeah. JT Daniels finally found his spot. Of course, he's 40 now? He's got a gray beard. He just...
If they can slow the Byron Brown down, because the guy leads them in passing and rushing, they can just find a way to just to spy him up, keep him contained. They should cover this pretty easy.
All right, we're going to my next pick, and this will be the last time this team is ever on my board if they don't get it done this weekend.
Gross.
So I'm going back to the well here, and I know that at some point this year, Reverend Hugh is going to go out there and beat somebody that he shouldn't. I just don't think it's going to be at Kyle Field this weekend. A&M defense, I get it, hasn't looked great. But the last time that Auburn faced an okay defense in California, they only managed 14 points against the Cal Bears. So I don't think Auburn really knows what they're doing on offense right now. They don't know if they want to have Peyton Thorne or Robbie Ashford be the guy. I think Thorne was the guy last game. I think he played the whole game. But A&M has no such problem with Connor Wagman. He's looked really good. He's running that Petrino offense good. They're going to get plenty of points. They're going to put up points against Auburn. I know if you go look at the stats, Auburn's got a pretty good defense, but they ain't played anybody. They ain't played anybody that has an offense. This is going to be the first test. They're on the road, first SEC game. I just think A&M is going to be covered this pretty quick. All I need is a few defensive stops out of DJ Durkin and that Aggies defense, and I think the Aggies put up at least 33 to 36 points. And there's no way that I see Auburn getting more than 20. So I think that's an easy win for the Aggies.
26-18.
Low scoring. That's a low scoring game.
Yeah, I mean, if A&M bucks you here, they go on the board, right?
So I said this is their last chance.
No, they go on the board.
Yeah, they go on the board. They go on the board. They will be on the board for a long time. If they do it to me again. So
all right, my next play is Tulsa at Northern Illinois. I don't have it's probably ESPN Plus game. Over 53.5. Kevin Wilson coaches this Tulsa team. He's a great offensive coordinator that opened up against Oklahoma and Washington. We don't know what they are. That's a
tough road, isn't it?
They got blood. And this is his first year. They got Steve Spurrier Jr. as the offensive coordinator. They finally get to take a breath and show off what they can do on offense, which, they score some points against those two teams. But, I mean, you're looking at way too much talent. They're about to play a defense that gave up 35 points to Nebraska. That Nebraska team
ain't good.
No, that Nebraska team can't
how many points did Nebraska score against Colorado? Like 20, maybe?
Yeah. So both teams struggled defensively. They played last year. The final score was 38-35. That's 73 points, which is 20 points higher than the total set this year. So
I love that over.
Over 53.5. Here's my play. I don't know. I like everything about it. I think Tulsa's going to be able to go. Finally, we may be able to.
We can play a little bit.
Our quarterback's going to have a little time to throw, and So yeah,
I'm with you here.
I like that play too.
All right, we'll move on to my last pick. You notice another college pick. There's no NFL in there this time because NFL is what it is, and we may talk about some NFL games. We'll take a look at the slate and we'll talk about it a little bit. But my last pick, I'm taking the North Carolina Tar Heels -7.5 as they travel to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers. Drake May is still a dude at quarterback. Don't take a look at his stats. That guy can still play. You had to expect a little drop off in his stats when he loses Phil Longo to Wisconsin. On the other side of the ball, that quarterback over there, Jerkovich, I think he's hurt. He doesn't look right when he throws. He looks off.
I think this is what he looks like.
I don't know if he's comfortable or if he's just bad. Maybe he's just bad, but I swear he looked better last year. Again, like I said, he's never been a great QB, but something just about his delivery looks off. So I think he's hurt and playing through it. I mean, they average a paltry 236 yards a game, which is good for 129th out of 133 FBS schools. North Carolina comes in at number 10. All right. Scoring defense, North Carolina 45, Pitt 49. So they have similar defenses, but the offense on one side is number 10. On the other side, it's 129. Got that?
Yeah.
So that's 129 out of 133.
Yeah.
I don't think they get to 14 points. I think they get 13 max, and North Carolina easily gets to 27 to 30. So I feel like, and again, I saw the public jumping on Pitt here because they're at home. Public keeps betting Pitt. We beat them last week. We beat them with Cincinnati. I mean, it's just they're not covering. Give me the Tar Heels and Drake May to beat the hell out of the Pittsburgh Panthers Saturday.
I don't hate that. It should be it may start out sluggish, but they'll get it rolling.
Oh, yeah.
So I like that. So it's my go.
Yes, sir. Your last pick.
What am I? Memphis. Oh yeah. All right. Memphis at Missouri. 6:30 kickoff on ESPNU. The over's 54.5.
They're not playing in Missouri, by the way.
Where are they playing at? Nashville.
They're playing somewhere in Arkansas, I believe. But
Oh.
it's a neutral site game.
Look how I spelled that. I was gonna put Mizzou and I spelled it out.
With two Z's. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah,
M-I-Z.
yeah.
Isn't that their chant? Or remember the chant?
Yeah, that's
When
also
we
how
were
you spell
frozen?
lose. All right. Memphis Navy got to 52 points last week. That game should have never got close. You mean to tell me Missouri's offense is the same as Navy's offense? You get out of town. Memphis should have scored at least 3 more touchdowns in that game against Navy. You know, I don't know. Ton of points left on the field. Missouri should be able to move the ball against a suspect Memphis defense who's coming off just an absolute beating
Yeah.
that Navy and them Armed Forces offenses put on you running that triple option. Navy's QB threw for 132 yards against Memphis, which is almost probably equivalent to 280 yards
Might
in
as,
a
well
regular
been
game.
might as well have been 400
Yeah,
yards. Oh.
this game should be in the 60s easy. That's just where I'm at with it. So, yeah, give me the Memphis, Missouri over 54.5. 6:30 kickoff, ESPNU.
The only thing that scares me there is that Missouri's defense is pretty good, but I think they have a letdown after the big win against K-State. So I think you may be right here. A little bit of letdown by the Missouri defense, and I think they win the game, but I think they're going to have to put up points to win it. So I don't hate the overplay there.
Yeah, they got to 52 with Memphis and Navy. Get out of here. You mean to tell me Missouri can't?
No, Missouri can score. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, and it may be on Missouri. If they go score 40, then it should be fine.
easy.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I hope.
I see where you're at there. I wasn't
No, we're
thinking.
good.
So there's our 6 picks. Again, we didn't have any NFL out there. So, but we both like the 49ers tomorrow night. That line is, I think it's now 10 and a half.
Yeah.
But the Giants are without Saquon Barkley. Both teams are coming off a short week. Obviously, they both played Sunday. But from what you've seen from both teams, I think 10 is a bargain.
Yeah, it's 10.5 minus 105 on Bet Us earlier. You can buy it down to 9.5 at minus 125, which gets you through the 10, which is where I got it at. I paid the extra 20 cents just to get it through the 10. So
Yeah.
I like that.
One game I see noon. Fox, the Atlanta Falcons travel to take on the Detroit Lions. Detroit had a little hiccup with the Seattle Seahawks at home.
They killed my damn Survivor League.
Yeah, they got me. I really thought Detroit could take care of Seattle. But Seattle looked better. I think they just had a bad game 1 against the Rams because I think the Rams are actually better than most people thought they were going to be. So I like the Falcons. I like the Lions at home -3 against the Falcons.
Yeah, one game in college too. I don't mean to jump. I really didn't.
No, you're good.
I didn't
Go
even
ahead.
look at the NFL. I'm disgusted.
Disgusted. He's
disgusted
just
with
disgusted.
South Carolina -6 at State. I think we both.
We didn't even. That's right. We didn't talk about the
Well,
Gamecocks and the Bulldogs.
There's no South Carolina. Spencer Valley ought to throw all over this defense. They're calling for the quarterback Will Rogers' head over there. I don't understand.
I don't think it's his fault.
It probably ain't. I don't know what the deal is there, but it ain't good. The whole thing's a mess. And then they got to go to. I think that game's at South Carolina.
Yeah, it's at
Columbia.
South Carolina. Yep.
William Bryce Stadium at night.
It's tough to play there.
It's under a touchdown. You give me South Carolina Gamecocks. I didn't make it an official pick, but it'll probably be.
I guarantee you I'll make that play.
Yeah, it'll be in there.
Yeah, I just, it's like it's trying to fit trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what they're trying to do with Will Rogers. He's a good quarterback, but he's got to be in the right system.
Yeah.
They're not running the right system. Use what you've got. I mean, you don't have to run the air raid, but at least you can use some concepts to help Will Rogers out. You're not helping it at all. I guarantee you he is, every night that he goes to his apartment or wherever he goes, he's like, why did I not just transfer? He could have gone to so many schools and just put up all the yardage.
Yep.
I mean, because he can run that offense, but it's not working. What they're trying to do now, I don't think I'm going to score points. Give me Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks -6.5. I mean -6.
Yeah, I would bet that. If you bet that and you're looking at that play, you have my approval.
Yeah, of course, we've got South Carolina in our charity moneyline parlay, which we're going to get after it again in week 4. We haven't done very well.
If we miss this week, we're gonna
have to change our strategy.
We're gonna
We're gonna
change our
change it.
strategy. We're
Yeah.
gonna get this thing done. We're committed to it.
As you see it there on the screen, UNLV, Minnesota, North Carolina, Southern Miss playing Arkansas State, one of the worst teams in the country, and South Carolina. So that's the charity moneyline parlay. We hope we get that thing home.
Plus 400, a little over plus 441.
Yeah, that 5-teamer gets you plus 400.
So if we hit that one, we get all our, we get it. We're a little over a little over even for the charity year, and then we get down. Then we're rolling.
So Paul, I'm looking at the NFL. The Steelers have a bye already in week 3.
They play Sunday night.
Well, I'm looking here. Oh, there they are. The Raiders. They get the Raiders Sunday night at Las Vegas. Las Vegas is favored 2.5.
Yep, and this is the game the Steelers go out there and get the shit beat out of them.
Is that because of Matt Canada?
Well, 85% of it's Matt Canada.
If anybody ever comes around, Paul, and you want to start a conversation and you want to get him riled up, just mention Matt Canada. That's all you have to do. Just say Matt Canada, and then he'll give you everything he's got about that guy.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna,
especially off air.
It's not gonna be good. I mean, I'm just a dumb dude from Mississippi. We don't even have an NFL team. Closest NFL team we have is New Orleans, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have to drive 5.5, 6 hours to go watch an NFL game.
That's right.
So, but my team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the one thing I've always known about the Steelers is they give their coaches every opportunity.
But this guy,
this son of a bitch here.
he's got pictures or something.
Something's fishy.
A game to look out for Monday night. The Rams travel take on the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been god awful. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. I don't hate the Rams here straight up.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Why are the Cowboys only a 7-point? Oh, it's up to 12. I see now.
Yeah, so they're 12-point favorites. That's a huge line.
Opened at 7, up to 12. Yeah, I just don't trust this shit. Honestly, I don't.
Seahawks, Panthers. Seahawks are 6-point favorites. They ought to beat the hell out of the Bryce Young Panthers. He's just not ready.
If the Giants beat the 49ers by a field goal tomorrow night, I will
We're
not.
done.
I will
We're
not
done with
talk
NFL.
I will not talk about that ever again. You know what?
It'll be over.
All I need to know about
I'll
it.
call my boy Kyle in the morning and say, look, just dial it up. Just get this thing to 30 before the fourth quarter so we can. My boy Paul, I need him talking NFL. I don't need him just checked out. I don't need him just checked out completely.
That's stupid.
Big game between the Patriots and the Jets.
82% of the money on the 49ers on the spread, 53% on the under, 78% straight up, -550.
What's the over-under there? 44.
Well, we should have added that. We should have added the 49ers in that charity parlay.
Charity
just to
party,
really stick a cherry on this thing.
Yeah. Let them go out there and lose by a late field goal.
Taking money out of the baby's mouth.
I know. We're trying to help some charity here, and we can't even get that done.
Can't even get you assholes to cooperate.
For sure. All right. Well, I think we've been on here rapping enough. How about you?
Now
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. Let me go over to the upcoming. There you go. There's the 6 picks by each team. I've got Air Force -3.5, Florida State -2.5, Maryland -7.5, Duke, UConn over 45, A&M Aggies -7.5. This is your last chance. This is all you get. Tar Heels -7.5. Paul's got the Arizona Wildcats -12.5 against Stanford. App State, Wyoming, my favorite pick of this whole board right here. App State, Wyoming, over 44. Sam Houston State, +12. Rice, -2.5. Tulsa, Northern Illinois, over 53.5. Memphis, Mizzou, over 54.5. You see the money line parlay. UNLV, Minnesota, North Carolina, Southern Miss, South Carolina. So that's the recap there. That's what we're looking for this weekend. A lot of big games. So we're excited about it. We'll be at the pool house this weekend, Paul. We got some ribs smoking. We'll be ready to go. So look forward to talking to all of you next week and recapping our 10-0 week as we move into week 5.
And we're due.
Yeah. All right. So good luck to everybody out there, and we hope that you cash some tickets, and we'll catch you next weekend. Tell them bye, Paul.
Bye, Paul.